So my suggestion was going to be tubeless.
Oh, well. Our mission isn't to sell Bromptons, it's create urban freedom for happier lives. It doesn't say anything about selling Bromptons. Brompton is about creating something that is useful. We don't need you to buy anymore. We don't want you to buy anymore. Pressure is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. If you don't like electric, that's fine. Don't buy one. It's the value. If the value is there, you can afford it. The T-line is super light. It's flipping expensive, and I wish it wasn't. Most of us live in a city. We're the most intelligent animal on planet Earth. And the place where most of us live turns out to be the most unhealthy place to live.
There's one innovation that I would like to see on the Brompton.
Early in the morning, I stumbled across a YouTube video that were made by Roadman Cycling Podcast YouTube channel with the Brompton CEO, William Butler-Adam. I'm telling you, it had been one of my better 45 minutes in a week. There have been questions on my mind about the Brompton's marketing for a while, and this podcast by the Roadman had answered a couple of them. Before you're jumping off from the links over here, or from the description below, I would like to share my view on two of the items that Will had talked about. Stay around till the end. I have an extra third point to make. Will had actually leaked a new major move for the Brompton, so stay tuned. Point number one, let's start to talk about the way Brompton is marketing itself in the world of cycling. Will had spent a fair bit of time covering how all the companies in the world should be taking up more social environmental responsibility.
You've got to take responsibility for how you might want the next generation to live, because this is not a 3-year turnaround. This is a 15 to 20-year turnaround.
Products should be made with longevity in mind. In his own words, after purchasing the Brompton, we should all be enjoying the use of it. It should last you well into the 20 years. Brompton only want us to purchase the bicycle from them once. If you enjoy it, you go on to recommend it to your friends. That's how they find the growth of the company. I'm not joking with you. Listen to this.
We don't need you to buy anymore. We don't want you to buy anymore. What we want you to do is love it. Get on the Brommy.
Brompton is envisioning itself to be the pioneer of promoting urban freedoms and greener, happier life.
To create urban freedom for happier lives.
Will mentioned it, riding a Brompton should be part of life. There will always be people taking it as a sport, as a channel to socialize. But it should really be an extension to our legs for everyday life. As easy as that.
It's not intimidating.
Well, I don't know if this is the right way to promote the company, but this is certainly the positive way to promote a greener life. I'm happy with the Brompton that I've got, and I'm certainly telling people to get one all the time. Point number two is the Brompton in the exclusive cup. As its price tag is relatively high in the foldable bicycle spectrum, Will mentioned as a Brompton do last for a number of years, a good second-hand which could cost as low as 300 British pounds.
You can buy a second-hand Brompton for 300 quid.
It's really an inclusive starting package. He also mentioned if the value is there, you will be able to afford it.
It's the value. If the value is there, you can afford it.
Well, there's no denying Brompton isn't a cheap bicycle to ride around with. However, I had seen enough Brompton that had been around for years. I would take my very first Brompton as an example. I have been riding around with it since 2013. Although I had had it recolored and swapped out some of the parts, the bike remains as a 10-year-old bike now. My second and third Brompton were all from the pre-loved market. So is it exclusive? I say it's an iffy yes. That is if I'm only using a Brompton as a pure commuting tool. However, Will did mention the Brompton is being used as a different tool, different means to the enjoyment around the world. If we looked at it like that, then my iffy yes would then be changed to a straight no. Will did have a special mention to the Brompton owners in Indonesia, where the Brompton is really out of reach to some. However, the Brompton owners are the movers and shakers of the country over there. Their love for cycling would have a big say on how the cycling movement would evolve at a higher level over there. That could have been what Brompton could bring to the table as well. Okay, jumping on to my third point. All right, here's the biggest takeaway from this podcast, for me anyway. If you have watched my previous video on is the Brompton making an aluminum bike, you would know Brompton is signing a deal on the low carbon aluminum suppliers. At the end of various press releases, they are already mentioning on the Brompton will be doing something with their wheels. At the podcast, Roadman has asked if Brompton could go tubeless.
So my suggestion was going to be tubeless.
Will was rumbling on his reply. From his own words.
No, you won't. What you'll do is you'll buy a new rim. You don't need to change the bike. If we did do that, you just take the old one out and stick it. You've got memories with that bike. You don't want to let go. You just take the front wheel out and change it and put a new rim in, and then you're away.
So from the fact of our previous video and the statement from Will this time, we are almost certainly getting a wheel upgrade to our Bromptons. And it may be a tubeless option. All right, for those who are not very familiar with the tubeless idea, in very, very simple terms, tubeless replace the inner tires with some form of sealant to stop the air from leaking when you get into a puncture situations. Let's get back into the video. Isn't that fun? The tubeless actually been around on the mountain bike for years. Could there only be positive for it? Yeah. Really? No? Of course not. You will at least need some new hardware for it in order for the tubeless idea to work. First, we will need an airtight rim, and then the airtight tires and some sealant added as well. Based on my experience with them in the last couple of years, I had my reservation with the tubeless on the little Brompton wheels. In fact, I've been toiling around with the sealant on the Brompton as early as 2018. The better sealant usually start to work to seal when the pressure is around 70-ish psi. With the Brompton tire usually running near 100 psi, tire pressure will drop substantially before the seal is actually kicking in. Would 70 psi be good enough for you to ride the Brompton on? I don't know. As this is only a speculation, I wouldn't go into it anymore. If it does eventually happen, I'm sure I will have more for you guys later on. Anyway, what kind of tire pressure are you guys usually running on? My tires are always running on 80 plus psi. Share with us down at the comment area below with the tire pressure that you are comfortable with. Either way, I'm super excited about all these possible new directions on the Brompton. Let's hope we are getting more of these very soon. See you on the next one. Dash.
Boom, boom. Straight out it comes, in with the other, done. In 25 years' time, either us or someone impersonating us will be the catalyst. You will not be able to go to a city in the world without cycling, light electric vehicles, but you will not see 2-ton vehicles. And that's our mission. We want to look and see cities that are all about light transport. And then guess what? We all get obese, and then we can chuck that into the mix and see what happens to our mental health and everything else. A city that we have changed. We've changed the culture, the infrastructure. We've been part of that transformation of that city. I've been there